What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Ground Force Gaming. Nova here, and as always, we've got DatSkat with us. What's going on, DatSkat?
What's happening, y'all?
Today, we are going to be talking about Street Fighter Duel just in like an overview sense. We want to do a bit of a state of game conversation with you guys here and just kind of see where we are both sitting in game and give you guys a reference of where maybe you should be turning your focus to, or maybe just give you some food for thought to how to progress given changes that have come since the last time we did a video like this. And DatSkat and Falcon just recently did a tier list video, which is super comprehensive. It's very well thought out and put together. If you have not seen that yet, definitely check it out. We're not going to be talking too much about the like actual fighters and stuff like that in this video, but if you do want to have that knowledge under your belt so you know who to choose for divination, that kind of stuff, card up at the top here for you guys. Definitely check that video out. It's super good. Scat, state of game. How's your game going right now? What are you working on? Where are your gems going? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, okay. So with gems, I fluctuate back and forth. I'll do like divination,
Okay.
and then I'll refocus and do like special summons, or I'll refocus and do boost stones, whatever the need is. But those are the three needs, right? Like
Right.
we can all agree on that. And maybe some like shop refreshes and that kind of stuff. But generally, my gems are going to those three things: divination pulls, special summon tickets, or what was the third one I said?
Boost stones.
Boost
Boost
stones,
stones, yeah.
yes.
And vehicle
Um,
tokens as well, yeah. I think both of us are pretty heavily like hammering out the vehicle token purchase in the shop.
yep. But honestly, I've been waning on that.
Okay.
I I'm going for duplicates in the shop right now. Like
Right.
almost my entire wish list is all duplicates right now because
Same.
I've been playing this game since the first day it came out. So I pretty well know who's good and who's not. And if I have their six vehicles already, then I'm just going to go for duplicates on Sea Viper and duplicates on Bison and
Yep.
duplicates on all these other characters that just are good for PvP. Like
Right.
if you have one great PvP team, you can do a lot of damage.
Right. And I think that's what we're seeing with the Viper teams right now. Like the meta has kind of remained the same. Like we're just seeing Bison, Sea Viper, B Zangief, Elena, or Street Poison, right? These are like the typical things, or Summer Yang. People are using him as well. That's like the standard PvP team right now, more or less.
Yeah, and most recently, another team has been popping up to kind of counteract that Sea Viper team,
Yeah.
and that's been Honda, Zangief original,
Yep.
Bison,
Mm-hmm.
and then who do people throw in the tag?
Summer
Healer,
Elena.
Summer Elena.
Summer
Okay,
Elena. Yeah, because then they can do the trigger skills. It
yes,
just works out better that way. It's like it's the perfect counter for the Sea Viper team, and that's kind of like the new meta in a
yep,
way. But not everybody's doing it. Like it's more common to see that in like ladder play or like HWA. You're gonna find that team, but in just like standard
yes,
PvP, not so much because you can see what people are using and just you can
yes.
counter it if you want to. But I have my vehicle list pulled up here too, and like vehicle dupes, guys. If you're not doing this yet, and it's okay if you're not at this point in the game yet, but I feel like the game's been out long enough at this point in time that it's pretty clear what fighters you need for PvE, PvP, and for boss fights for events. If you have their 6 out of 6 vehicles, some of these fighters, you just need to leave them in and start getting the duplicate vehicles for them. Because when you get those, if you guys don't know, every time you level up, you get 2% of a certain type of stat. So the cars are 2% of final damage bonus and reduction in PvP. The trucks are final damage reduction in all battles. And then the motorcycles are final damage in all battles. So we're talking like serious stats here. If you're not doing that already, you might want to think about doing it because you don't need to get 6 out of 6 vehicles for every fighter, right? I mean, it's just not
Right.
necessary.
And these stat boosts we're talking about, they're not like dodge or pressure. These are like legitimate all damage
Yeah.
stat boosts. And if I'm able to increase all damage in PvP in regular battles and reduce damage by 20%,
Mm-hmm. It's
I mean,
incredible.
now it's an incredibly long grind,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
You need 15, 36 total vehicles to fully max out one fighter. and we all know how long it took to get 6 vehicles the first fighter we got
Yeah.
to 6, right?
Yep. And then you
But
need 30 more for the upgrades. It's wild.
it's
It's
wild.
it's a grind, but man, it's worth it. Like this is where you see like the biggest changes happening for boss fights and for PvP is because every little bit of stat boost that you can get that the opposing team doesn't have or the other people fighting the same boss for top scores don't have, that gives you the edge. And in a
It,
game that is kind of heavily favored toward the whales, when you can get these like little bits of percentage boosts, like you just got to go for it.
yeah, it's the only way you're ever gonna be able to compete with the whales
Right.
to any level is just to say, okay, you know, I maybe you like Yoon and Yang, and you see some benefit to their C1s or their assist skills.
Sure.
Um, However, I wouldn't be like putting vehicles on them or anything or using them. They don't have a place yet, and
Right.
until the whales show us that no, these characters are meta right now,
Mm-hmm.
then it's never gonna shift. So why would I go for their vehicles just to fill out a roster full of vehicles when I can just duplicate
Yeah.
and really boost some stats of some people?
Yep.
So I've been really focusing or Sea Viper,
Yep.
even with my choice chests, you know?
Yeah. Have
And
you
some
used
people,
choice chests on her duplicates?
oh yeah.
Oh, really? I haven't used choice chest on duplicates yet. I have 6 of them saved up.
Wow.
I was holding them
Big deal.
for Summer Elena because I just recently made the decision to pull for her to get her to SS because her FS plus 30 is amazing.
Yeah, so what is your priority with regard to special summons? Who are you going for right now?
So I saved up all of my tickets and did a huge like summoning for Oni. I'd been saving them since the Akuma event.
Wow,
Yeah,
that was the first one. That was the first special summon, wasn't it?
that was the
I'm pretty...
I think no, MH Ken was the first.
No, that was
It was a
a
collab,
collab.
but still
So
special
I guess
summon.
it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still a special summon, but it's not.
But yeah,
Anyway.
I went for Oni and I got him to SSS.
Mhm.
Upon his release, I had like 600 and some tickets saved up. We're talking like 4 months of saving tickets. Because I wasn't buying any with real money. This is just in game, just picking them up with time.
Yes.
But then, yeah, I made the decision to switch to Summer Elena because of the support. I wanted a bigger support role, and her FS30 is giving like a stacking over time. You're getting 50% damage for everyone on the team. It's just an amazing thing to have. Support fighters for boss fights are just, you got to have them. You just have to.
And the nice thing about Summer Elena is she's a trigger unit, so you get
Right.
to use some really cool teams with her.
Yep.
And she actually does some pretty good damage too. You know,
Yeah.
she's not going to be like Elena that takes up a slot and
Right.
doesn't really do a whole lot of damage and spends
Right.
way too much time on the field. You know,
Yeah. Elena's kind of a liability at this point. Like she gets eliminated too quickly because her skill takes so long to perform.
yeah. Well, her trigger, regular Elena's trigger skill. What is that? It's on her FS30, isn't it? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the FS30 is what does it.
Yeah.
It makes her
So
attack. Yeah. She doesn't just come
yeah,
out and heal. She comes out and then she triggers her super.
not ideal. So
No.
um, I think Summer Elena is who I'm going for too right now.
Yeah.
But I did go for Evil Ryu from the start.
Yep. So your evil Ryu is SSS plus 2, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So my Oni is SSS plus 2. And then I don't know what I want to do about Summer Lane. Like I kind of want to push her to SSS, but part of me also just wants to start working on Cami Vega.
Kame Vega is going to be really good.
Cami Vega is going to be super good.
Really, really good. I've only seen glimpses, but it's just like that college quarterback, you know.
Yeah.
You know who's who, right?
Yep,
Like you
exactly.
just see these glimpses, and I think that Kame Vega is going to be really strong.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm going to do is with my special summons do Summer Elena up to SS and stop.
Yeah.
Get those FS30 unlocked and
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna go Kame Vega. I think that that's the play. My Summer Elena is already S, so
Mhm.
I only need 4 or 5 more copies. So that's
Okay.
not terrible.
No,
That's not a
that's not
crazy
terrible.
grind.
And if you guys have been keeping up with the events, you'll be stocking up on these chaotic starlights. I know it's tempting to use these on these special summon fighters, but you should probably hold on to them because if you can gather up enough, it's going to make it possible for you to get like a collab fighter at a high grade. So it's like I'm so tempted to use these on like Cammy Vega and get her to SS, but I think we got to hold on. Have you been saving yours?
Oh no, buddy. You know
No,
me.
you
I
use
can't save
okay.
anything.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I spend things, man.
Yeah.
I'm an in-game spender. I want to utilize every resource now.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that there's some logic behind, well, if it's going to take an amount of resource, why are you committing to someone when the game will advance and
Right.
stronger fighters will come out?
Right.
Well, and that's true, but a game like this, it's all about counters.
Right.
So this fighter counters this fighter, or this team counters this team.
Mhm.
So if you see someone, or if I see someone that is, has a gimmick, or their efforts are very acute,
Mhm.
someone who's doing something, then I'm gonna go for them. And Eva Ryu takes out Bison,
Right.
and I think
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's very true.
So that's why I went for Evil Ryu, and I saved him through Akuma, and then when Evil Ryu came out, I dumped everything and
Yep.
have been dumping everything into him to get him to Divination.
Correct. Yeah, that's really the play, right? Is to get them to SSS and then just go Divination for them going forward. Save your special summon tickets for the next.
Yep. And then in Divination, I took him up to 2-star,
Mm-hmm.
and then put him aside, and now I've gone back to Bison to get him up to 2-star, because I only took him to SSS and stopped.
Right.
And he's really, really good.
Yeah, he's super good.
I'm pretty sure that within my arena, within my server, that the people that are beating me are only beating me because of Bison. Because my Sea Viper is level 100 on the blood, what is it, soul power?
Yep.
And so the max there.
Yep. I'm still working on that.
Yeah, the vehicles, I have like plus, I think it's plus 10, and plus 8% respectively down the line.
Yep.
So I'm almost onto the second set of vehicles. So like, she's getting really, really, really strong.
Yep.
And of course, maxed out FS30 and
yeah, mine is I mean, we're more or less at the same position here with Sea Viper, because I'm missing the soul power. I'm at 94.
Yep.
And then for the garage, I'm at 10, 10, and 10. So I'm onto the right side of vehicles now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm keeping her in there. She is staying in my wish list. She is going to remain in there until she has all of the dupes that she can have, because she's so good.
She's kind of become my pet project. Every now and then I get somebody that I just need 100%.
Yep.
And she's going to go to 100%. I'm going to get her as maxed out as the game will let me.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's just going to be what it is. And the only thing left to do is get these vehicles. So I'm really excited on the vehicles. But that's kind of what we're doing, is getting duplicate vehicles, going for like rounding out our used roster. So like 3 teams, who you using? You get 15, or you only get 12 fighters. So like, that's all you need to build.
Yeah. Yeah, really. Pretty much. Well, so now and you brought up something pretty interesting during the most recent event, during the Cammy Vega event, because this was the first time that for the boss fights, we saw 4 teams, right? And for those of you who've been playing since the beginning, you'll remember that initially it was like, I don't even remember if we had 1 team for boss fights or not, but it's not important. It was 2, and then it was 3, and now it's 4. For this event, you had to have 4 teams built. And like, I think it's a good thing that happened. At first I was like, man, that's really kind of like off-putting. Like, I'm still struggling to get 3 teams perfect, and now I got to do a 4th team. And then I was seeing these whales now with these perfect 4 teams just throwing up these huge scores. And I'm like, I can't compete with this anymore. I was like top 10 in the previous event for Summer Elena, and now I was like struggling to be top 50, to be honest with you. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's good for the state of this game to have a little bit of like a nod toward the whales, because it keeps them more interested. Because like, truthfully, as fun as it was and as good as it felt to be top 10 against whales, and I'm not a whale, I imagine it hurt the community a little bit, right? Seeing people like myself and like DatSkat who like, yeah, I bought the legendary fighters, sure, but that's it.
Yeah.
The rest is just
I
time and saving and using resources in game appropriately. But like, I shouldn't be top 10. Let's be realistic here. I just
no.
shouldn't.
No, because you haven't spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
No.
And so I think what the game did, like if you zoom out, I
Hmm.
think what the game did is gave us FTP people who were complaining that it just takes a little too long to get these fighters. They made it a little more accessible.
Hmm.
They also gave the chaotic starlight,
Yep.
which you still got to save, but that's the whole point. Like this is a business.
Right.
This is a product to consume.
Correct.
And if you're consuming it free, then you're only going to be able to get so far within a given day, and then
Right.
extrapolate that time frame.
Yep.
And that's kind of the logic there. So the fact that they made it 4 teams all of a sudden gives those whales an extra little haha,
Oh
which
yeah.
this is what they paid for. They paid to be better than people. Like
Yep.
let's be real here. That's the whole point. They paid to win, and all of a sudden they weren't winning. So I
Right.
think Crunchyroll said, okay.
Right. And it's
So
clear. It's clear in that regard too that the game in general having a boss meta is still going on. Like most of
I
these
think it's just
fighters, we're not seeing like PvP is important too. Like HWA is great. I had this pulled up on my game here earlier. I'll pull it back up here for you. These last couple rounds here for the final showdown were the first time that I've actually placed in the top 64.
hmm.
And so that was the first time I even looked at these rewards. But look at these special summon tickets that you're getting for this, and these crystals or the faith gems. Like
Yeah.
this is a really good avenue to go down. But this is testament to the whole concept here is that these are multi-team events that are giving you these good rewards, and it's either PvP or it's boss fights. Who has the highest score? Who can beat the other players? Right.
Yep.
So I know like progressing in story mode is very important, but I've been sitting at 3640 for like months now because there's not really a need to go farther. And for me right now, personally, the idle rewards don't change that much for me. It's not that big of a deal. I just don't spend a lot of time on it. And instead I've been focusing all of my energy on building fighters that are good for bosses and for PvP, because this is where the real rewards are, in my opinion.
I agree. With these events and everything, it's exactly that.
Yeah.
What are the events? They're boss fights.
Yep.
They're fights against multiple people or single targets. Like they're different ways to fight bosses. But
Yep.
really, the PvP characters, like, and the campaign characters, like Guile,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be like necessarily using him for these
No,
boss fights.
you don't see anybody using Guile for boss fights, at least not that
Because he's
often.
not very good with them,
No,
and so
he's PvP. He's to be with Beast Zangief for interrupts and just massive damage for PvE, so you can progress.
PvE. I
PvE,
think for
yeah.
PvP you want to put Zangief. Well, I don't know. You can put Beast Zangief with Sea Viper. A lot
With
of
Sea
people are
Viper,
doing that.
I mean, you can use Guile in PvP as well, and you can use Sea Viper with another team. People do that. I think I'm using Guile right now in my ladder. Let me look at my defense here real quick, because I'm pretty sure that I am using him. I am. So for my ladder, I'm using Guile, BZ, Abel, and Summer Elena, and then I'm using Viper with. This is a weird team. I don't know why I did this. It must be working though. I have her with Joan and Ibuki.
Mm, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't even been like. I must have done this at some point when I was like tired, because I don't remember. I don't remember changing these teams up. But
Yeah.
I'm super interested in these trigger units though, because they're so good for boss fights. Like if you're looking at these here, like I've got Summer Elena in this one, I've got Summer Ibuki in here. I'm really still working on Summer Ibuki. It's been a long grind because I'm still not using my gems on divination yet. I'm still using them on boost stones and vehicle tokens and special summon tickets. I'm getting 2 special summon tickets a day.
I can't swallow it, man. I can't.
Can't
I can't do it.
can't do what?
I can't do the special summon tickets every day. That's too many gems. I would
Really?
much rather. Yep, I would much rather pull for divination.
Okay. I feel like Yeah, it's a toss up, right? Because if you're using the gems on divination and you don't get someone, you don't get the person you're pulling for, then it's wasted gems. If you use them on the special summon tickets and you don't get it, then it's still wasted gems, and it's more expensive. Yeah, because it's like what 1,000 and then 18, and so it's 1,800 for 2 tickets.
Yeah, I guess the quality of rewards are they are better in the special summon. So when you don't get a character, which is most often, then
Yeah,
so there's something to that. However, this is a game of probability.
right.
You need to enter as many times as possible in
Hmm.
order to obtain any sort of regularity with regard to pulls, right? Like,
Right,
you know, the person who does 100 pulls is going to end up having more things than the person who does 20 pulls.
right. Yeah, of course.
It's just the way it is. And
Yeah,
so, um, I really want Summer Ibuki.
yeah, I do
That's
as
what
well.
this is coming down to.
I'm working
And
on
but
her
I
constantly. She's FS 30
yeah.
already,
Okay.
and she's SS plus, and I have an A plus copy. So all I need 2 more copies of her, and she's done.
Nice. Okay.
She's looking pretty good. She does really good damage. She's awesome as a trigger unit. She's great for
Yeah.
the speed up. I'm very impressed with her as a fighter so far. But yeah, it's been if I were using my gems on divination, then I would have her already. But I'm still using them on boost stones, as you guys saw. I've got the shop pulled up. I bought boost stones today with gems, but I also so I made the huge grind here to get Oni to plus 40.
Yep.
So that took a long time and it used up a lot of boost stones. And now I'm in the position where I need to get my boost stones back up to 300 because I really want to work on, well, 600 to be honest. I need to get them to 600 because I want to work on Cammy and Vega and I want to work on Fire Adon.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think those are going to be the 2 new units that we're going to see putting up big scores for boss fights. So I want to have at least one of them to SS. Fire Adon, I could get to SSS for sure if I really wanted to. I could use my gems on the choice summon, but
I've been seeing some stuff around town here,
yeah,
around the proverbial internet town,
sure.
that Fire Adon's pretty darn good.
Hmm. I think he frees up Dulcim. Like that's kind of my thought
Yep.
here is because the Flame Chun-Li Dulcim team is very RNG based. It's kind of like difficult to get the scores that you want consistently.
Yeah.
So I think taking Dulcim out and putting Fire Adon in is what people have been doing. They've been doing what has the team been?
Well, it's either that or Fashion Blanca.
Yeah, so it's Fashion Blanca, Flame Chun-Li, Fire Adon, and then Summer Elena.
or they put in Flame Chun-Li instead of Fashion Blanca. But that's only if you bought Flame Chun-Li.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are doing Fashion Blanca, which
Sure. Yeah. Flame Chun-Li is the Flame Chun-Li and Dulcim has been like the team to use
Yeah.
for boss fights. But now with Flame Chun-Li you can use Fire Adon instead, and that frees up Dulcim to go elsewhere and do something different. And that's he's still going to function just fine without Flame Chun-Li. That's the thing. Like you don't need him with Flame Chun-Li, but like that's just been the best way to do it. So now if you can move him elsewhere, that's going to allow for another team to do even more damage, because the issue with boss fights currently for myself, for DatSkat, with most of you guys watching this as well, is that team 1 does a lot of damage. Team 2 is pretty good. In my case right now, team 3, it's like, it's just lacking. Team 4, like, I don't know. I'm not really hoping for much out of team 4 at this stage. I don't really have what's needed for 4 really good boss fighting teams.
But that's what's promising about the game is now that the roster has grown this much, we're starting to see options.
Right.
So the game's kind of blossomed and opened up in a lot of different avenues, and I think it's still really fun. A lot of people quit playing. A lot of like big accounts quit playing, and that's fine.
Yep.
You know,
we're seeing more onboarding though. We're seeing more new people coming into the game,
and I love it. I think the game is really healthy. It's not going anywhere, guys.
No, it has a great balance, and I know like there has always been negativity around this game since the beginning, and then I know that recently there was that whole rumor that went out like, oh, they only have like, what was it, like 6 more fighters to release, and then the game's dead. Like, Guys,
Not the case.
we all need to remember that the devs don't share any information with anyone. No creators have any insight into anything that's going on. Everything that you hear is just an opinion, and when it comes from a negative mentality, it's just to garner views, to be honest, because people like negative content more than they like positive content. It's just the truth behind social media. So just keep in mind here that whoever you're listening to, they only halfway know what they're talking about in regards to like what's to come. They have all these variants they've got collabs to come. They've got other fighters that can come in. There's no reason why they won't do more crossovers with other things. So there's no reason why this would end after 6 more fighters coming out. It's just not true.
Well, it could just be proven false by, all they have to do is put another word in front of a fighter they already have the rights
Yep.
to, and then doop, there's another
Yep.
fighter released. So it's like,
Yeah.
you don't need to worry, guys. There's,
No. No need to worry. This game's not going anywhere. It's super fun. It keeps getting better with time, in my opinion. These boss fights are super fun. I love the way that they're doing the events. I do think there's some room for evolution. I think they could add a little bit more in. I don't know if you guys have noticed this as well, but in global operation, we've had coming soon on the far right since the beginning of the game. Trial grounds, we're still sitting on coming soon for more of these.
mm-hmm.
Like there's more to come. I don't know why it's taken so long for these things to come out. I would like to see some variation in the events. I don't want to say they're getting stale, but I would just like to see something new.
Yeah.
I like when they have a little bit more like going on. The one that they did for was it the Oni event where like they had the different areas that you kind of drove through on your car and you investigated, and then there were additional 2 boss fights at the end, not like associated with like the actual boss fights for the event. That was super fun, right? Like Vega like spawned out of nowhere, and then you had a Vega fight.
Yes.
And yeah, that was cool.
Very cool.
I want more of that.
Yeah, it's just fun little games and stuff, and
Yep.
and it's different than your standard gotcha game. I think it's just throws a little wrinkle in here and there, and I think it's really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall everything's moving pretty good. We've had really awesome fighters come out recently. The events have been great. Boss fights have been fun. I think we have a lot to look forward to. Just continue to try to like, use your gems accordingly. Make sure that you have that like resource expenditure evolve with your account. Start focusing on the things that you need to guarantee you boosted stats. Like early game, maybe you shouldn't be using them on divination unless you're still trying to get bison, but vehicle tokens, boost stones, round your teams out. Start thinking ahead toward the boss fights to come, because that's where the best rewards in the game are.
And with characters like Pharaoh Sagat that just got released, a lot of people are kind of dunking on him a little bit.
Yep.
And I would just caution people to pump the brakes on that a little bit. Like, maybe he isn't good, and that might very well be true. However, a future release might fulfill something that he is missing, or give Pharaoh Sagat his best buddy on the battlefield. And so just I say be patient and look for these opportunities to weave different teams together. We don't all have to be using Sea Viper.
No, yeah, it's
for PvP.
It's the truth.
She just is really strong. So
yeah. The Soulstone increase thing for her was what changed everything. But no, DatSkat's right. I think in regards to Pharaoh Sagat, I think with time we're going to see teams change. We're going to see fighters change. We're going to see lineups change. It's just the way that things work. And just because a fighter comes out right now that doesn't work quite well with what you've got going on doesn't mean that it's not going to be good in a month from now when the rest of the team has arrived. That's just kind of the situation. And I know it's very easy with these trials to be frustrated and to use the fighter in the trials and be like, wow, this fighter sucks. But some of these fighters, like, it's unfortunate that these trials are the way that they are. The devs need to change the trials. We need to be able to use whoever we want. They should also have like an actual boss fight in there, because some of these fighters are not good for PvE, and that's what you're forced to use them in right now. Like, some of these fighters are meant to be used in boss fights, so they are single target damage and they don't do well in PvE.
Right.
So keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind. Like somebody like Mummy Doll Seaman, and I'm not saying he's good,
right?
But what I'm saying is, like, his kit takes a little bit of time to produce like big numbers, you know.
Right.
So where is he going to have the time to do that? Certainly not in a PvE or PvP scenario.
Yep.
It's going to be
Yeah, it's
a
so true.
boss fight
Yeah.
or Shadowlands or something like that you're really going to see a unit like Mummy Doll Seam shine.
Yep.
So if you do them in the trials and you're frustrated, just refer back to what Nova just said.
Yeah. Well, we saw it happen with Flame Chun-Li, right? In the very beginning. A bunch of
Oh
whales
yeah.
didn't buy her because she performed like garbage in the trials.
Yep.
But she's not meant for PvE. She is one of the best performing units for boss fights. All of the whales have her now because they re-released her for sale. Everyone was upset that they didn't have her. And there was even an event a little while back where free-to-play players who had like put a little bit in and picked up Flame Chun-Li, which is what I did because Chun-Li's my favorite Street Fighter character, so I had to get her.
Yep.
I was putting up huge numbers in this event and beating some of the whales, and they didn't have her because she didn't perform well in the trials.
Yeah, and the whales didn't
So
really like that. That
they
didn't
did
go
not
over
like
well.
that, which is why she got re-released. She's the only one to come back for sale.
That's true. That's true.
It's because she broke the boss meta, and yeah, free-to-play players that spent $35 on the game were beating people that spent thousands. So they had to balance that back out. But anyway, overall, I think everything with the game is going quite well. I know we haven't been doing a lot of content on this. We've all been very busy doing other things, you know. So hopefully we're going to get the ball rolling on this a little bit more. Like I mentioned before, Falcon and DatSkat have that tier list video out if you have not seen it. Card up at the top here again for you guys to check that out. It's super good. Definitely look at it.
It's really interesting because it's only the special summon and divination characters. So this tier list is all about gems, baby.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You guys did a great job with that. So yeah, guys, definitely check it out. Appreciate you watching this. Before we close out the video, do you want to add anything into this, Skat, or are we good?
Let's go, fighters. Come on now.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, throw a like on the video, comment as well. Let us know what you think about how the game is going at this point in time, and join our Discord as well if you have not. You can find the link in the description. You can find it in our bio. Hope to see you guys there. Cheers.
Peace out.